In today's video, we're going to be giving a 1-year update on Billy Donovan's custom cichlid tank here. There's been a lot of growth in this tank and it's looking really good with a lot of fish growth and color really starting to come in.
So I've been keeping after this tank for the past year and I'm going to show a little bit of the maintenance. We're also going to clean a filter today and show how we keep this tank up and running and looking so good.
We're excited to show the update on this tank, so let's dive right in. Okay, so this update is actually a little over a year, about 16 months since we set up this custom aquarium for NBA head coach Billy Donovan of the Chicago Bulls. We had this 180-gallon aquarium custom made from Custom Aquariums. The tank is 6 by 2 by 2 feet, and it was going to be set up as an American cichlid tank. There was a lot of planning that went into this tank, and I think it really turned out nice. It was also really cool just setting up this tank and working with Coach Donovan. It's always interesting to see who shares your interests and hobbies, and when it's someone like Coach Donovan, that's also just a really cool thing. So we had a full day with Coach Donovan setting up this aquarium, and then we came back a couple weeks later and added some of the cichlids. We picked and chose a lot of the cichlids based on Coach Donovan's interests. This was the tank with the cichlids finally in there, and you'll see that they were very small. The Texas cichlid here was probably only 2.5 inches, and it was the biggest in the tank at the time. There's also the tiny Jack Dempsey. The chocolate cichlid was very small. All these cichlids were ready to grow, and we're going to show some of that progression in this video. Something else that's very cool about this aquarium lately is that we had some breeding action, and we're going to show that as well. So with all that being said, here's the tank today. This 180-gallon aquarium is just looking great. The water is crystal clear. We actually are coming over here to do our regular maintenance and water changes that we do every few weeks on this tank. We're a little bit behind schedule on this visit, so we're going to do a bigger water change. We're going to clean one of the FX6 canister filters, and we're just going to show some footage of these fish and how much they've grown and really started to color up. So first off, I wanted to show the surprise, the breeding action that was happening in this tank.
God, okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
Over here in the back corner, the 2 sevrums in the tank have paired off and laid eggs on the back panel of the glass. It's not a very common thing for different color variations of sevrums to pair off and breed, but these 2 seem to have done that. And luckily sevrums aren't too aggressive, so even when they're in breeding mode and protecting their eggs, they hopefully won't cause too much issues in terms of aggression. Also, the tank size is big enough for the other cichlids to get away from them, so hopefully everything will be fine, but we'll definitely keep an eye on it. Some of the other cichlids in this tank that are just looking incredible, starting with the big showstopper, the Texas cichlid. Surprisingly, this fish has been pretty peaceful, even at about 8 inches in length now, which is a ton of growth in that time span coming from that 2.5 inches. And then we have one of our favorites and Billy's favorite cichlids.
The Cichlid brothers in Chicago built him a fish tank, and his favorite fish in the fish tank, Jack Dempsey.
The Jack Dempsey really starting to show some great color, and it's probably the second biggest in this tank right now. And then you have the electric blue Acara and the rainbow cichlid, which are showing some really nice colors as well. And then you have a Geophagus top hose, which is just starting to get some of that red color in its forehead. And then the Geophagus finni, which is one of my personal favorite cichlids, showing some of that metallic shimmering throughout its body. And then before we show our typical water change and maintenance process on this tank, we're just dropping in some food. We usually go with extreme pellets and flakes, which has really contributed to not only their growth but the color that's starting to come in as well. But these cichlids have really got along nicely. They're really starting to color up like we were hoping. The tank has come a long way in those 16 months, and it's really cool to see the progression over time. If you'd like to see the initial setup of this tank, we'll leave that down in the description below. It would be really cool to go back and watch that, see the fish that were in that tank, and then come back to this video and see all that growth. But next we're going to start with our water change. Quinn is going to hook up the Cichlid Ultra Zero pump to the Python. Once he puts that in the tank, plugs it in, the water starts flowing out of the tank and down to the drain. This pump is really useful because it pushes water out fast and efficiently, and you don't need a faucet running on the other end. Okay guys, so we're draining the tank for the water change while Quinn's cleaning the glass. I'm going to get the FX6 canister out. We're going to clean that today, and this tank's going to be looking great in just a few minutes. We try to alternate cleaning one of the two FX6 canister filters every 3 to 6 months or so, but this FX6 was definitely behind its schedule, so a much needed cleaning here. And it's really killing two birds with one stone as we're doing the water change and using the tank water to clean out the filter media. This makes sure we're not killing off any of the beneficial bacteria while we're cleaning this.
Don't forget to clean your filters.
My boy's wicked smart.
Rinsing out all the sponges, the baskets, and the biomedia. The only thing in the filters themselves that we replace regularly is the chemical filtration, which is usually Chemi Pure Blue, and that really puts the cherry on top of keeping this tank crystal clear. We swear by that stuff, and as always, we'll leave links in the description below of any of the products that we use on this tank. Alright, so Quinn's bringing the hose back, and we're going to start filling the tank back up. As mentioned, we did a bigger water change today because we were a week or so behind our typical schedule. And because of that and messing with the filter, we did stir up some things so the after look of this tank won't look quite as great. But after a few hours, this tank clears up and it looks great. The last step we do here is just to wipe down the outside of the glass with some Fritz glass cleaner. But this is the tank after the water change. The cichlids are kind of hiding a little bit, so we'll throw in some flake food just to get them to come out for a quick look. This tank looks great. There might even be room for a few extra fish that we've been talking to Coach Donovan about. But overall, the tank setup and the quality of this custom aquarium itself really stands out, and we couldn't be happier for Billy with this tank setup. It's looking great, and we can't wait to see the progression over time.
Alright, so that's it for today's video. Definitely stay tuned to some future updates on this tank. I know Coach Donovan has been asking us about adding some new fish, so that is an exciting update that will be coming.
Maybe more updates to come on the channel, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.